we have found for the last 2 decades of FRAEC's work is that it has always focused first on the people and next on the idea to bring the people together to make it possible to do the work that needs to get done.
FRAEC works in many ways to expand economic cooperation by providing support to companies both in Russia and the U.S. to expand trade and facilitate partnerships. And through RAP, our regional forum across the Pacific, we work with the private sector at our annual meetings to bring the concerns and issues to the attention of our federal governments for action.
When we have a problem, we go to either State Department, Commerce Department, sometimes Defense Department, and then RAP or FRAEC. So we come to you, and rarely have a problem, but when we do, you've been very active in helping us solve the problem. We appreciate that.
Our role in community types of exchanges, where the community, whether it's police or health or schools, education related, and FRAEC has really been instrumental in finding people that want to make those kinds of connections and putting them together and helping them be successful in some joint activity and a joint development of better understanding.
FRAEC's Municipal Partnership Program is one way we bring communities together, cities that have long-standing relationships as well as new, to share best practices and improve local self-governance in Russia.
As a new city, we had that new city connection. Slavyanka, I think, has been a city about 10 years. University Place 15 now. That's not very long to build a history of involvement with the community. And so those were areas that were of mutual interest. We really saw how much they were getting done with very little resource, and it was sort of energized us to remember that sometimes the best way to get something done is not to break out the checkbook and try to find tax money to do it. Sometimes it's just a matter of engaging and activating the community. When we had the guests from Slavyanka here in University Place, and when we were their guests there in Slavyanka, the issues that we all share as people, we want a better world for our children and a safe, good, high-quality environment to live in and to work in. These are issues that unite us as peoples of the world.
After 20 years, every organization should try to do something really big. We have an opportunity to say, what do our communities need now? Not what they needed 20 years ago and what they need now. What they need is to know that they make a difference in the lives of each other, in the way in which their kids and their grandchildren are going to see their opportunities.
President Medvedev has made modernization central to his economic reforms. One key area is e-government. By 2015, all Russian government services need to be online for access to citizens. FRAEC has had experience through its partnership between TDA, Seattle, and Sakhalin, and now working with companies such as Microsoft, we're exploring ways to bring this resource to the Russian Far East. Another priority is energy efficiency. FRAEC has organized and will host a delegation in September from the Russian Far East to come to Seattle to explore our technologies and to look for business partnerships that can assist in this effort. The Sakhalin School Resource Officer Program, the only one of its kind in Russia, was a result of a very successful partnership between Washington and Sakhalin Island.
The School Resource Officer Program started here in the United States years and years ago. It was a little bit different because people weren't used to having cops in schools. The only time children normally see a cop is they're arresting mom or dad for something, or they're telling them get out of the, go skate somewhere else, or kids are being pulled over for speeding. It's using a negative type atmosphere. And that's what we try to do is the SRO program tries to build the bridge between cops and kids.
FRAEC, with the help of Steve Beats, is launching a training initiative to take the model to other schools on Sakhalin to help those officers provide safety and information to help kids.
We truly believe that story and storytelling is the currency of the 21st century. So the idea of storytelling, the idea of making stories with, is this idea of making meaning with a partner. Because the ability to tell a story, the ability to suspend our understanding of our own stories and enter into and listen to another story, another person's story, is the way to create better cross-cultural understanding and create an arena of mutual benefit. And put the power of the hands of storytelling into everyday people, and then working with FRAEC, it adds that value in your own stories so it has relevance, builds relationships, demonstrates rigor, but at the end of the day has results.
For 20 years, FRAEC has been bringing people together to try to do things that they never thought were possible. And so now we need those people to have a chance not only to tell their story, but to tell their story to each other.
FRAEC is launching this initiative to tell the many stories of cooperation, and this is one example.
A delegation of folks, the equivalent of our public health, came to the United States to see what our services were for young children with special needs. And when they came to Kindering, they said, this is what we want to be. This is the service that we would most like, the package for our children and families. Would you collaborate with us? It was the first early intervention center in the Russian Far East. And so we were making a difference. Even some staff members that we met had children with disabilities who were in institutions. And this is the first that they were seeing that there was a choice and that they could be bringing their own children home. About a year later, we were hearing that they had replicated the project in some other cities in the Russian Far East. And so it just had ongoing impact. So for us to be able to make such an impact here, and then again to be able to transfer that to the Russian Far East was uncommonly important.
Why do I do this? And why do all of my colleagues who are serving on the board with me today do it? We do it because we know that FRAEC will do the work in a way that builds the relationship between the United States and Russia, that will build the idea of collaborative work, and that will sustain it on the ground day in and day out with the best people who have the complete commitment to changing the way the two countries work together. And so now is our chance to show that we care about taking that approach anytime we're going to make a difference.